Hey America, did you know that over 38 million people, that's like everyone in California, and then some, live below the poverty line? It's a staggering number, isn't it? Imagine the entire population of a state as large as California struggling to get by every single day. Yeah, you heard that right. In the richest country on earth, we've got a whole lot of folks struggling to make ends meet. It's a paradox that, in a land of such abundance, so many are left wanting. The wealth gap is glaring, and it's growing wider every day. We're talking about families skipping meals, parents going hungry so their kids can eat, and fridges that are more often empty than full. It's a daily struggle for survival. Kids going to schools that look like they're held together by duct tape and hope, where the resources are scarce and the buildings are crumbling. These children deserve better, yet they are often forgotten. And folks working 2, sometimes 3 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads, it's a national embarrassment. These hard-working individuals are the backbone of our economy, yet they can't afford basic necessities. Now you might be thinking poverty is a complex issue, and you'd be right, it is. It's tangled with issues of education, healthcare, and housing. It's not something that can be fixed overnight, but that doesn't mean we get to just shrug our shoulders and say, oh well, nothing we can do. We can't afford to be indifferent. Indifference is a luxury we can't afford. We need to talk about it, understand it, and most importantly, do something about it. Community action, policy changes, and grassroots movements are all part of the solution, because ignoring it, that's not just bad policy, it's morally bankrupt. We have a responsibility to our fellow citizens to ensure that everyone has a chance to thrive. These forgotten corners, these pockets of poverty, they exist in every state, in every city. From the bustling urban centers to the quiet rural areas, poverty knows no boundaries. They're a stark reminder that the American dream, that shiny promise of prosperity, isn't reaching everyone. It's a dream that remains out of reach for too many. And until we fix that, until we create a country where everyone has a fair shot, we can't call ourselves a truly great nation. It's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work, because a nation is only as strong as its weakest link. So, where are these forgotten corners? These places that seem to have slipped through the cracks of the American dream? Well, they're not exactly tourist destinations, folks. These are the places that rarely make it onto postcards or travel brochures. We're talking about places like rural Appalachia, where the coal industry has dried up and left behind a trail of unemployment and despair. The once bustling mines now stand silent, a stark reminder of better days gone by. We're talking about Native American reservations where poverty rates are more than double the national average. These communities face systemic challenges that have persisted for generations. And we're talking about inner-city neighborhoods ravaged by decades of disinvestment and neglect. These areas are often marked by crumbling infrastructure and a lack of opportunities. These places are often invisible to those of us lucky enough to live comfortable lives. The stark contrast between affluence and poverty can be jarring, yet it's a reality for many. We drive past them on the highway, we see them on the news, but we don't really see them. We don't stop to understand the stories behind those boarded-up windows and empty streets. We don't see the families struggling to put food on the table, the kids growing up without basic necessities, the sense of hopelessness that hangs in the air like a thick fog. These are the faces of American poverty, often hidden in plain sight. But these communities are more than just statistics on a page. They are vibrant, living places filled with people who have hopes, dreams, and a desire for a better life. They're filled with real people, with stories to tell, with dreams for a better future. Each face tells a story of resilience and determination. They're resilient, they're resourceful, and they're tired of being ignored. Despite the challenges, these communities are finding ways to support each other and create positive change. It's time we start listening. It's time we start seeing these communities for what they are, a vital part of the American fabric, deserving of our attention and support. Now, some folks will tell you that poverty is a choice, that it's simply a matter of personal responsibility. They argue that people living in poverty are just lazy, or they made bad decisions that led them to this point. But that's about as accurate as saying climate change is a hoax invented by Big Penguin. It's a gross oversimplification. The truth is, poverty in America is a direct result of our history, our policies, and our priorities as a society. Let's rewind the tape a little, shall we? Let's take a closer look at the roots of this issue. This country was built on stolen land with a workforce of enslaved people, creating a foundation of inequality. We've got a long and ugly history of discrimination based on race, gender, and class, which has perpetuated cycles of poverty. And that legacy, my friends, it doesn't just disappear overnight, it lingers, affecting generations. Fast forward to today, and we've got a system that's rigged against the poor, making it incredibly difficult to break free from poverty. We've got a tax code that benefits the wealthy at the expense of the working class, further widening the gap. We've got corporations making record profits while wages stagnate, leaving workers struggling to make ends meet. And we've got politicians more interested in lining their own pockets than in helping those in need, perpetuating the cycle. Is it any wonder that poverty persists? The system is designed to maintain the status quo. The system is working exactly as designed, keeping the rich rich and the poor poor. It's time for a redesign, folks, a complete overhaul of our economic and social systems, because this land of opportunity, it should be a place where everyone has a fair shot. Right now, it's looking a lot like the land of lost potential. We can and must do better.